Welcome to the Syncretism Society Virtual Academy. Today we're going to be talking about how to gain momentum and increase your willpower on the path to self-realization and the alchemical process of unifying, purifying the four elements, and basically through the 12 steps of the alchemical process on this path, the four elements become divided within oneself and they're worked on individually. And each one is purified. Each of the elements are purified and then reconfigured and reorganized into its highest state. Now, the elements are always have like a negative entropic energy that allows the spirit to become entangled. And this is where we hear the story of Narcissus losing his configure in his own reflection on the water and then falling in and drowning. Essentially, the soul loses it becomes mesmerized in the dualities of the world and falls down. This is why it's super easy for us to procrastinate, to have maybe even too much pride or self-esteem to cause, us to feel like we're better than other people, or we're, human beings are apt to overeating, with these tendencies that are chaotic. They're put there to give us limitations for the soul to overcome. In the solar books, we're always seeing like Krishna and Jesus overcoming these adversities. They're always triumphing over matter. Krishna is lifting a mountain. Jesus says all you need is the faith of a mustard seed and you'll be able to move mountains. Now, this is in the Western tradition, this is how you like gain willpower, or same in the Eastern tradition, gaining that willpower to overcome. Now, in the Eastern tradition, that's more about, accepting fate of the divine and understanding and accepting obstacles. Whereas in the West, it's overcoming obstacles and basically changing the fate, changing the way that things go. Man becomes a ruler of his stars. We don't let the stars just rule over us like a puppet, like they're puppet masters, but we become the character of our own story. And not in the sense of just creating our own world, but that means they're following the blueprint of the creator within, doing the higher will, sacrificing the lower. Now on the path, this can become pretty hard to do, especially when all of the pleasures, sensations, and the material world is constantly making an illusion for us to want to become entangled. That's the thing about matter, is it always wants to suck you in, just like water wants to pull you in. The soul wants to pull in and the spirit wants to project. So we have to activate the projecting spirit. So have to do things to supercharge the will. And by doing this, little by little things, even such as like, let's say you really don't like to wash the dishes, but just by simply washing the dishes, you increase your will. Or let's say you have a neighbor that you don't like, but then you help them anyway. That's going to help increase that. Or you're going against your biases or preconceptions of the animal ego. It could be that you're walking by someone and you maybe want to think negatively about them, but instead you revert that, observe yourself wanting to think negative and change it consciously. So this little by little gains momentum on a subtle level. Now, to get the elements really worked up and thriving, it's important to get them fired up. For example, some of the great Western esotericists would explain to inflame yourself, invoke often, inflame yourself with prayer, to always invoke. And invoking means to invoke the highest celestials. So if your planet is, let's say, Mars, or let's say you're ruled by Venus, or you're ruled by the sun, like let's say you're Leo, then you'd want to appeal and invoke those highest qualities of the sun to overcome all of the entropic forces. For example, if you have a hard time, getting your act together, or you become frustrated and you can't manage your anger and you have too much Mars, you would need to sublimate that with the Venus, the peacefulness, the loving sensations of Venus. If you're too like strict and cold like Saturn, you would need to divert that with Jupiter. Now, how would you do that? You could do that simply by thinking, okay, well, Jupiter is optimism. So optimism would conquer that sentimentality of Saturn. Mars is like seriousness, war, revenge. So Venus would be like, or even Jupiter, forgiveness, right? So you'd be counteracting them with their opposites. And this is very simple. Like you could do very like a harmonious ritual if you'd like. You could draw the sigil of Jupiter, focus in your mind and feel the feelings of optimism. Or if you need more discipline, you could draw a sigil of Saturn and deeply focus on what it would feel like if Saturn, the discipline of old man Saturn permeating through you and being able to be more disciplined. So it just depends on what you want to do, and how well you are with working with your field. So if you're the Purusha, the knower of the field, then you should be able to make changes. So for example, if you feel like someone's sending you negative energy, you should be able to easily know that you're protected. If someone is, if you're trying to find your purpose or find a way to give charity to others, help others, then you would want to like invoke Jupiter and really calm and question yourself, like, what kind of service do you want to be giving to humanity? Or like, what new thing are you going to come up with? Like if you want to invoke an Aquarius type energy to really get more ideas and try to find out how you can connect with your community more, your soul community. What could you do to get your message across? Do you need to invoke the forces of Mercury to help get your message across, to help streamline the communication between you and your tribe? Like, what is it that you're lacking in? You can play with these planets. You can rearrange them like the toolbox of a magician. So once you do start to do these little things, like, keeping your environment clean, eating clean, staying positive, doing your spiritual practices, invoking, praying, or perhaps silent Zen meditation, or perhaps just simply listening to your favorite beautiful music, activating the beauty of Tippereth, or perhaps you want to listen to a disciplined lecture from Manly P. Hall. All of these things are going to build momentum, but the thing is what's going to start sucking out momentum is when you're like, you know what, I'm just going to get up whenever I want. Today I'm not going to exercise. I don't feel like cleaning today. Oh, that person sucks. Oh, you know what, I feel like a little bit of lust. Oh yeah, you know what, I feel like I'm just going to maybe overly smoke, indulge in marijuana, or overly indulge in perhaps even studying. Maybe you're studying too much. These are all things to watch out for. And this is why it's important to keep the dream journal, the diary every day. So like every day you can notate within your, and some days you're going to miss, but like throughout the years, you're going to have all these books, all these notes compiled, and you're going to be able to put it together and be like, holy crap, like, okay, it's been 3 years, but you know what? I've had 56 documented notes that I would not have had if I didn't put the effort to have just done that. So it's important to do that, to look at and see what's reappearing, what obstacles are coming up. Are we constantly being inflamed by fire? Are we always angry? Are we always in sensational relationship problems with Venus? Are we always, feeling procrastinating and being lazy? Maybe having physical health problems, an earth issue? These are all things to counteract. And the magician, being the spirit, power over the astral, the fifth element, can organize the four elements. And when we organize the four elements, we actually help evolve the elemental beings within those elements. We bring them the light out of matter. We become alchemists by transmuting the lead into gold. So the flow state is the middle line of the sine wave. Sandeep Sanachi showed us the sine wave. The middle line would be, to me, my opinion, the flow state. So when you're not in the flow state, you're either red shift, blue shift in the left brain, eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, correct? So boom. What you need to do is understand that once you're in this flow state, by doing these little things every day, whatever it is, be nice to your family, doing something that you feel is service. So you're doing all these little things, including exercise, meditation, maybe a nice cold shower, invoking with prayer, going for a small run. These are all supercharging your will. And then you're abstaining from just doing whatever you want, right? Whatever the animal ego wants. So you're actually transcending Malkuth, activating Tippereth, the emotional body, which has access to the spirit in the brain. So this is why you'll be able to move mountains. This is why in the solar books, like Moses parts the Red Sea, it's an allegory for like a miracle. Like miracles will manifest in your life if you have the light within yourself. So by conserving that light, or that Christ, so that's why it says in the Bible, he whom Christ is within him is strengthened. So the more you transmute that light, the animal passion, the desires of entropy, That's transmutes into the energies of the spirit and to have supreme control. So he whom Christ is with him is strengthened. The more that Christ is transmuted into the light, because that light is then transmuted into the wine, which is the purified blood. Once you have your blood purified, you enter that flow state and you're able to basically walk on waters, ascend into the clouds, meaning astral projection, consciously walking on water, control of the sexual energy, control over your emotions, rising from the tomb, understanding the truth about the afterlife for yourself. Don't let anyone tell you specifics. Like, you have to find that out for yourself. And these are some of the things that you start to unlock on the path. Now, like, just start supercharging yourself. If it's summertime, get some sun. Consciously draw in with your palms, fill and pull. As who you are, you have the ability to push and pull. You're a center. So pull in the energy. And if there's negativity around you, or you want to banish a bad habit, then push out the energy. Feel the energy pushing out as your field goes. Or feel it coming in as you're sucking in the energy, possibly in nature. Intone the mantra vocalizations. There are plenty of mantras out there, Eastern tradition or Western. You could simply Google mantra vocalizations, and what these do are this is working with the willpower. Willpower is the fire. The sound is subtle and related to fire, and therefore fire, sound, and light are one and the same. So working with the sounds and the mantras are working with the fire. So the fire can evaporate the water of the emotions and start formulating that. The lightning, which is the lightning and the sound, are one. So the more supercharged your Taurus field is, the more simple life is, the more things come easy, the more able you are to triumph over adversity. I recommend listening to Manly P. Hall's Spirit Triumph Over Circumstance. It's a good one. And, little simple things like taking out your neighbor's trash builds momentum. Saying something nice to someone, paying a compliment, doing acts of charity, good deeds, and self-contemplation on your negative aspects that you want to change. Because then every time you overcome something or don't yield to temptation, you charge. That light transmutes into Luciferic energy. That Lucifer is the light that descends. Check out Prisca Theologia on my YouTube channel. I talk about Lucifer. And I'll be doing some videos on here as well, going in depth, and how Lucifer is that phosphoric light energy that descends and gives us the impulses, the sex impulse. So when that Lucifer descends, it either becomes Satan or Lucifer if transmuted, and that Lucifer becomes Christ. That's why Christ says he's the bright and morning star. Venus is the bright and morning star. And that light that just descends from Kether down to Malkuth, or from the pineal gland or the colostrum to the bottom chakra, to be transmuted back up whence it came. So it's that fluid is actually that phosphoric light, which is like chemically, physically manifested light, ether. So how would you discharge your willpower? Just giving into everything, cracking open a Mountain Dew, sleeping in, hating on people, being mean, ejaculating your energy, alcohol, being overly critical of others, instigating arguments, problems, being a source of annoyance or torture for others. These are things you might think that you don't have them, but really look within. Really ask the Divine Mother, really ask your inner consciousness to show you, reflect upon your inner mirror and be like, hey, show me my defects. Show me where I can get better. And then your consciousness will show you more and give you more opportunities to work on these things, not only in the physical realm, but also in the astral plane. So instead of discharging the momentum, do some solar worship, do some prayer, barefoot walk, go for a run in nature, eat healthy, eat clean, drink enough water, drink healthy, clean water, distilled. Do what you say you're going to do. Be applicable with the word. I really like this book called The Four Agreements. It really brought me on my path in the beginning. And I took a lot of advice from it, to just mean what you say and to not say things that you don't mean and to not make vows or promises that you can't keep. This is going to help you maintain your flow state so you don't become all momented, like emotionally disrupted. You can like always read the holy books. Like every single day, I make sure that I set aside a huge amount of time to listen to the Holy Sun books or the study from the masters. Like, Manly P. Hall, Leifus Levi, Thomas H. Burgoyne, reading from them, doing Eastern Vedanta. I like Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharishi. I like the Prabhupada, Hare Krishna's Vaishnava tradition. So, you could listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam audiobook, or you could listen to the Bhagavad Gita audiobook, or you could listen to all the Upanishads. There's a wonderful audiobook on YouTube, the Upanishads. This is going to give you access to those higher realms, give you a lot of momentum, a lot of purification, and just that knowledge of taking in that knowledge into yourself and your being and applying it can cause self-realization, or illumination. Illumination and temporary, like it could light a candle and give you the ability to have self-realization, which is becoming a sun. The Upanishads have lots of information. I recommend everyone to listen to them. And like the Bhagavad Gita says, find a peaceful, clean place to meditate on the super soul in your heart that will charge your momentum. Now, you don't have to just sit in a corner and meditate and find a clean place. And you don't have to meditate in this way that we're talking about, like, oh, focus on this or your mind. It doesn't have to do with the mind or the body. Meditating on the super soul is beyond the mind and the body. You have to get in touch with what's beyond the I am, beyond the inner being, the Father within, the substratum. And this momentum of being good, being a good Samaritan, and conserving your energies and trying to find ways to spread more love, this is going to increase your willpower. And that willpower will subdue the senses, the 5 elements, and you will acquire Purusha, or the direct connection, or in the West, it'd be like the Holy Spirit or the Holy Guardian Angel, right? And then you have to, once you're in this flow state and have an open heart, the Christ will be able to come and sit within the chamber of the heart and direct the whole orchestra. So just allow this to happen, but you have to put in that willpower to activate that process. So I hope that you guys, if anyone needs help, let me know, answer questions. And I do have some lessons I've been putting on YouTube, Prisca Theologia. But we're going to be going into depth here about how to engage in these practices. And I want to show, also some whiteboard presentations about how the 12 stages of the alchemical process that we went to are related to the 12 apostles, are related to the 12 cranial nerves, are related to your personal soul development. And we'll be going over how to transmute the vices of each zodiac into their virtues. And then we'll be going into the 7 metals of the 7 planets and how we'll transmute them from base lead into gold to go and coincide with the 12. So we've worked on the 12, then we'll work on the 7, purifying the 4, and then we'll go with the 13th, the hidden lesson where we'll activate, the vagus nerve or the nerve X. Thank you.